Arcadian Vanguard presents The Wrestling News and your daily wrestling newscast for Saturday, September 24th, 2022. Good morning, I'm Mike Sempervive. We begin today with Smackdown, which aired last night live on Fox from the Vivint Center in Salt Lake City. In the main event, the Usos successfully defended their undisputed WWE Tag Team title against the Brawling Brutes when Jey Uso pinned Butch. The Usos have now been Tag Team Champions for 433 days, beginning with their initial win for the SmackDown Tag Team title in July 2021, and are the third longest reigning Tag Team Champs in WWE history, behind only Demolition and The New Day. In the opening segment of the show, the Usos had been on hand, along with Sami Zayn, Solo Sikoa, and Paul Heyman during an in-ring promo in which WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns officially accepted Solo Sikoa into the Bloodline faction and also declared Sami Zayn an honorary Us, accepting him into their fold.
Anything you want to say?
Yes. As a matter of fact, there is. I acknowledge you, Tribal Chief!
Drew McIntyre announced during another segment that he and Karrion Kross would be facing each other in a strap match at Extreme Rules on October 8th from the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia. Following the announcement, McIntyre was attacked by Kross and Scarlett, with Scarlett hitting him with a fireball and a low blow, and Kross trapping him in the cross-jacket submission. In other results, SmackDown Women's Champ Liv Morgan beat Lacey Evans in a non-title match, The New Day defeated Maximum Male Models, Braun Strowman beat Otis, and Raquel Rodriguez beat Dakota Kai of Damage Control. Following the match, Shotzi came down to the ring to help Rodriguez fight off an attack from Kai and her Damage Control partners Bayley and Io Sky. Later in the evening, AEW Rampage aired on TNT, with the matches taped Wednesday night as part of Grand Slam at Arthur Ashe Stadium in Queens, New York. The show featured a surprise appearance by the Great Muta, who interfered in a match pitting Sting and Darby Allin against Buddy Matthews and Brody King of the House of Black. Muta came to his old rival Sting's aid by dragon screw leg whipping Matthews and spraying him with green mist, allowing Sting to get the win for his team.
And now, the mist! The green mist! To a standing ovation! The poison fog from the Great Muta! That sent Julia Hart crashing through the table as well! This is amazing! And Sting just broke free of the handcuffs! This is incredible. Yeah, baby! What a way to start off Rampage! Hey, at least the mist matches Buddy's tights there as he goes down. The Scorpion Death Drop! And the win! That's it! It's all about the Rampage!
The winners of this match, the team of Darby Allin and Sting!
My God, what a moment! What an opening bell!
In a related story, on Saturday morning, Pro Wrestling Noah announced Sting will be teaming with Muta at Muta Final Bye-Bye, the event that will feature Keiji Muta's final match under the Great Muta persona on Sunday, January 22nd, 2023 in Yokohama. Hangman Adam Page won a Grand Slam Golden Ticket Battle Royal, last eliminating Rush. The victory earned Page a shot at the AEW World title, currently held by Jon Moxley, on the October 18th edition of Dynamite taking place in Cincinnati. That night's program airs on a Tuesday night and will go head-to-head with NXT due to Major League Baseball's American League Championship Series taking precedence. Also last night, Jungle Boy beat Rey Fenix, but was attacked after the match by his former tag team partner Luchasaurus at the behest of Christian Cage. Sammy Guevara defeated Eddie Kingston by reverse decision. Kingston had scored the original win via submission with the stretch plum, but the decision was reversed by senior referee Paul Turner when Kingston refused to release the hold after the match was over.
That's exactly right, Tony. Kingston's out of control. Eddie Kingston, he has come completely unhinged. Yeah, this going way too long. I think Kingston might have blown for himself. All right, guys, something's up here because senior official Paul Turner, as you can see, is talking to Justin Roberts.
Ladies and gentlemen, AEW senior official Paul Turner is overriding the decision. Your winner, Sammy Guevara.
In other results, TBS champion Jade Cargill defeated Diamante. Hook and rapper Action Bronson teamed to defeat Matt Menard and Angelo Parker of the Jericho Appreciation Society. Ricky Starks defeated Powerhouse Hobbs in a lights-out match. and Wardlow and Samoa Joe defeated Tony Nese and Josh Woods in a one-sided match when Joe pinned Nese. With AEW news, here is the Wrestling News' Lou Kipilman.
Malachi Black, FTR, and Swerve Strickland were among several contracted AEW talents allegedly contacted by WWE since Paul Levesque came to power in July, according to reports in this week's Wrestling Observer newsletter and from Fightful Select. Identities of others have not been made public, but one was also reported to be what was described as an AEW original. Black confirmed earlier this week that he requested his release from AEW and was granted it, and it was reported that his request came after being allegedly contacted by WWE. FTR was reported by Fightful to have turned down an offer from WWE to return to the company, and Strickland was reported to have been approached in conjunction with Levesque's rehiring of fellow former Hit Row partners Top Dollar, B-Fab, and Ashanti the Adonis. At a recent AEW talent meeting, Tony Khan stated that AEW's head of legal, Mega Parikh, had written a letter to WWE accusing the company of contract interference with regard to these contacts with AEW talent. For the Wrestling News, I'm Lou Kipilman.
The Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that the final live gate amount for this year's AEW All Out is $1,020,000, making it the third consecutive AEW pay-per-view to top the $1 million gate mark, although its gate was exceeded by the previous two pay-per-views, Forbidden Door and Double or Nothing. Although this year's Grand Slam exceeded last year's $960,000 gate, it did so with higher ticket prices and fewer tickets actually distributed. This year's event saw 13,800 tickets distributed compared to last year's 20,177. Saraya, who made her first appearance in AEW last Wednesday at Dynamite Grand Slam, is still not medically cleared to wrestle, according to a report in this week's Wrestling Observer newsletter. Saraya, formerly known in WWE as Paige, hit the ring following the four-way interim women's title match on Dynamite, but did not get involved into any physical action, and it's reported that that will remain so until such time as she is medically cleared to perform. It's not known if it's AEW's doctors or Saraya's own doctors that have not cleared her. The Norwich native was originally put out of action stemming from two different serious neck injuries suffered in 2016 and 2017 while working for WWE, and has not wrestled since December of 2017. Turning to WWE, the October 8th Extreme Rules event is still far from a sellout, with only 10,881 out of 14,000 tickets distributed, according to an Observer report. The November 5th Crown Jewel show in Saudi Arabia, featuring a main event of Roman Reigns and Logan Paul, has been heavily pushed of late, and news recently broke of the November 26th Survivor Series featuring War Games for the first time, while Extreme Rules only has 4 official matches announced so far, despite only being 2 weeks away. Members of Degeneration X will reunite to commemorate the 25th anniversary of the founding of the group as a part of the October 10th Monday Night Raw from the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York, according to a tweet from the arena's official Twitter account. Advertised in the promotional video for the event were DX leaders Triple H and Shawn Michaels, as well as X-Pac and Road Dogg. Excluded from the video was Billy Gunn, currently under contract to AEW. Paul Triple H Levesque, Shawn Michaels, and Road Dogg Brian James all currently hold executive corporate positions within WWE. With WWE behind-the-scenes news, here is the Wrestling News' Lou Kipilman.
Gabe Sapolsky is back working with WWE in a creative capacity, according to a report yesterday from PW Insider. Sapolsky had previously worked as a creative consultant to Paul Levesque on NXT from 2016 to January of this year, when he was released along with other members of Levesque's team. Sapolsky is one of several former Levesque advisors and hires to return to the company since Levesque assumed creative control. Breaking into the business in the 90s as an assistant to Paul Heyman in ECW, Sapolsky later became Ring of Honor's original booker and was the founder of both Dragon Gate USA and Evolve. For the Wrestling News, I'm Lou Kipilman.
In Impact Wrestling, Victory Road was broadcast on pay-per-view last night from Skyway Studios in Nashville. In the main event, Steve Maclin won a barbed wire massacre match with Sami Callihan and Moose, pinning Callihan following a low blow and a DDT onto a barbed wire covered door. Bobby Fish made a surprise appearance on the show to cut an in-ring promo.
I've never really considered myself a controversial guy. I've never thought of myself as a problem. You know, I'm a guy who does his job well. And frankly, after more than 20 years, I'm just not here for the bullshit.
Fish was last seen wrestling for AEW, but was granted his release on September 1st after 11 months with the company. The Impact World Champion Josh Alexander was pinned by Eddie Edwards in a 6-man tag team match, pitting Alexander, Rich Swann, and Heath against Edwards, Matt Taven, and Mike Bennett. Mike Bailey successfully defended the X Division title against Delirious, and Knockouts champion Jordan Grace defeated Max the Impaler. Also on the card, the Motor City Machine Guns defeated PCO and Vincent, Mickie James beat Giselle Shaw, and Frankie Kazarian won a 9-person match to earn a shot at the X Division title at Bound for Glory on October 7th. During the show, it was announced that Raven would be the 2022 inductee into the Impact Wrestling Hall of Fame, with the induction scheduled to take place at Bound for Glory. Raven spent 7 years in Impact TNA from 2003 to 2010, during which he held the NWA World Heavyweight title when that title was controlled by TNA. In legal news, a U.S. District Court in San Jose, California has canceled a hearing that was set to take place on September 29th in the ongoing lawsuit brought by MLW against WWE. The hearing was to address WWE's request to have the lawsuit dismissed, but the judge in the case, Edward J. Davila, will instead make a ruling on the potential dismissal without hearing arguments from either side. The lawsuit alleges that WWE engaged in monopolistic practices, including intentional interference with contractual relations, and that WWE sabotaged MLW's dealings with the Fox-owned Tubi streaming service and with Vice TV to air MLW content. WWE issued a motion to dismiss the case, arguing that MLW has not established a plausible claim against them or sufficient evidence of monopolistic practices. Turning to Japan, New Never Openweight 6-man tag team champions were crowned yesterday at New Japan's Burning Spirit event in Kagawa, Japan, when Evil, Sho, and Yujiro Takahashi of the House of Torture defeated Hiroki Goto, Yoshihashi, and Yo of the Chaos faction. The victory occurred when Evil pinned Yo in 18 minutes and 37 seconds. The match was held under Dog Cage Tornado survival rules, in which wrestlers could lock their opponents inside dog cages at ringside. The penultimate day of Stardom's 5-star Grand Prix took place today in Shinjuku. Winners on the red block side included Julia, Momo Watanabe, Suzu Suzuki, Starlight Kid, and Hanan, while in the blue block, Utami Hayashishita, Himeka, and Mobo Kogo were all victorious. Both sides of the tournament are very much up for grabs entering the final night, as there's a 6-woman tie in the red block at 14 points apiece, while in the blue block, Julia leads with 15 points entering the last day, with Hazuki and Starlight Kid trailing by 1 point. The tournament wraps up Sunday at Musashino Forest Sports Plaza in western Tokyo. In Lucha Libre news, Rey Fénix will challenge El Hijo del Vikingo for the AAA Mega Championship in the main event of Triplemania 30 on October 15th in Mexico City, according to a press conference given yesterday by Lucha Libre AAA. The company stated that Fénix won a social media fan vote to determine Vikingo's challenger. Coming in second place in the vote was Kenny Omega, who held the title for over 2 years before vacating it due to injury in November 2021. Vikingo then won the vacant title the following month and has held it ever since. Fénix is also a former Mega champion, having held the title from August 2018 until losing it to Omega in October 2019. Triplemania 30 Mexico City is the last of 3 events put on this year by AAA to celebrate the 30th anniversary of Triplemania. Longtime CMLL luchador Starman passed away at the age of 47. The cause of the masked wrestler's death is not publicly known, nor is his true identity away from the ring. Starman remained under a mask his entire career, which began in 1994 in Naccarato, Mexico, where he first appeared under the name Ultraman Jr. He started wrestling for CMLL in 1996, and 2 years later changed his name to Starman due to an ongoing legal battle with the original Ultraman, luchador Milo Ventura Chavez, to whom he was unrelated. Starman was also popular in New Japan Pro Wrestling during the 2000s and would occasionally return to his Ultraman Jr. persona there, since it was originally based on a popular Japanese TV superhero. And before we leave you today, we'd like to remind you that however you consume your content, you can find the wrestling news 24 hours a day and 7 days a week across social media. On Twitter, follow us at Wrestling News AV. Our Facebook page is also Wrestling News AV. The wrestling news can also be found on the Arcadian Vanguard YouTube page, and for those who utilize Amazon Echo devices, just tell Alexa to play the Wrestling News Podcast, and remember to make sure to add podcast at the end. Once again, for daily updates, breaking news, and more, follow the wrestling news across social media. And that's the news for today. If anything happens, we will be here to tell you about it. No clickbait, no paywall, just the wrestling news. The Wrestling News is a division of Arcadian Vanguard, and the Wrestling Newscast is a production of the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network.